Hey guys, and welcome to another episode. Today in this video, I'm gonna go over wheels. So I'm gonna go over diameter, sizing, offset, and everything that you need to know when you're looking at a set of wheels. So I have two wheels right here, one of them that has a tire mounted to it, and the other one that doesn't. I'm gonna start off by showing you some of the specs and information found on the wheel that doesn't have a tire mounted to it. So we're first gonna start off with the most basic measurement that you can work with when we're talking about wheels. So this right here is a 19-inch rim. And I'm going to show you what exactly is 19 inches. What exactly are they referring to? Well, if I get a measuring tape and put it at the top of the rim right here and bring it all the way down to the bottom, you'll notice that it's actually past 19. 19 is right there, and it gets to about 21 and a half. Well, they're not measuring the outside lip to lip. What they're measuring is from the inside part right here, where the bead sits, they're measuring from here to the opposite side of this little area. So it's measuring the inside part right here, and that from here to here is 19 inches. Now the second measurement that we're going to be working with is width, okay? And the same thing applies here. When we're measuring width, we're not measuring it from the outside to the inside, because if we take a look at that, that measurement is 9 1/4, give or take. This rim itself is only 8 inches. So the 8-inch mark is from the inside part of the rim to the other inside, and that's where the bead sits. And as you can tell, this is an 8. This is an 8-inch rim right here, as you can see. Now next up, we're going to be playing around with the bolt pattern or the PCD, and that's referring to this, the inside part in here. So if we take a look, we're going to have 5 spots where we can put a lug nut through. Now right here, this is where the extended studs for wheel spacer would be, but as it stands, it's only a 5 lug nut wheel. So this, you would start off with a measurement for the bolt pattern, this would be a 5. Now the second number that you'd be looking for is measured, instead of in inches, it's gonna be measured in millimeters. And that, for this wheel right here, this is 114.3. Now what that is if there was a circle that was drawn through each one of these lug nuts, if there was a circle that went through the dead center middle of it, what is the distance from the most outer part area to the other side? That right there for this wheel is 114.3 millimeters. Now this can range between 4 by 100, where you would have 4 lug nuts and the circle would be 100 millimeters, to 6 by 120 or whatever that, like say trucks or anything else use. Now if you have those measurements down, those are the most basic measurements when we're talking about wheels. Now next up is going to be offset or back spacing. Now those two are very relatable, they're very similar. So offset is where the mounting point is right here, based on how wide the wheel is. So if we were working with a wheel that had a 0 offset, the mounting point would be dead center in the middle. So if this is the outside right there, if it was a positive offset, the mounting spot would be further out. If it was a negative offset, it'd be the other way and it'd be back here. So say if you want a wheel with a very deep dish, you would want something with closer to a negative offset than closer to positive. And the reason being is that you'll have more of the wheel that's sticking out past the center mounting spot. Now, if you're looking for a set of new wheels and tires, make sure that the wheel isn't too aggressive in offset, because if it is, this part right here, the outer part of the rim, might stick out past the fender. So say if you had a plus 20 offset, it would sit here. If it was a plus maybe 10 offset, it would stick out more, even though you're working with the same size wheel. Now if you're looking for a set of wheels that will be able to clear a larger caliper, something similar to this, that's a 4-piston or even a 6-piston, you're going to want an offset that's more positive than it is negative. So for instance, this wheel that I have right here for my vehicle is an 18 by 8-inch wheel, and the offset is plus 35. So it's 35 millimeters pushed this way from the center of the wheel. Now the next measurement that we're going to talk about is going to be the bore. And that is the size of the inner part right here, and this is going to mount up onto the wheel bearing onto the car. So you want to make sure that this bore size right here, if you're looking at an aftermarket wheel, is the same size or larger than your OEM wheel. And if this is too small, you're not going to be able to mount the wheel onto the car. So for instance, for my wheel that I have right here, this is a 76 millimeter bore, and it's calculated from this edge right here to this edge right here. So it's the diameter for this entire circle. Now if we grab the other wheel that we have and we take a look on the back side of it, you're going to find a lot of information found on each one of these spokes. Now I'm going to get into more detail into what all of these are. So let's start off with right here. So if we take a look at this spoke right here, you can see that it says PCD 114.3. That's the circumference of that circle that goes in between each one of the lug nuts. If we move up, you can see that we have our DOT stamping right here, and we can also tell right here that it's a 19-inch rim, if the camera will focus on it. So you can see how it says 19 right there. We'll move down to another spoke. We can see that this is a TSW Mirabeau wheel, and it's measured 19 by 8 with a J offset. So for this rim right here, this is a 35 offset, and that's what the J represents. So if we move down to the next spoke, you can see that we've got another stamping right here, and that's when the wheel was produced. So as you can tell, we have 13 for the first number and 14 for the second. So this was made in the 13th week of 2014. We'll move down, you can see that it's got a max load rating, and it's rated for 1,725 pounds. That's per wheel. And finally, if we come down to the last wheel right here, we can see that we have some serial numbers and markings found right here. Now, if you ask me, I'm not entirely sure what they mean, but if you talk to the manufacturer, if you have any problems with your wheel, they're most likely going to ask you for the specs and numbers to identify what wheel you purchased, and that's what these numbers right here are. In the next video, I'm going to show you what size wheel and tire you would need if you were to say go from a 17-inch rim to an 18-inch rim, or for whatever reason you're changing your wheel and tire size. I'm going to show you how to get the appropriate tire that you need so that you don't get stretch on your sidewall. If you guys have any questions regarding the video, throw them down in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to help. Again, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. I can't even fit in the frame. Good.